the whole impetus kind of about doing this ride, the Susitna 100 this year, is I had the idea of doing it last year, and I was starting to train for it, but wasn't training as diligently maybe as I should, and went out for a training ride. And on my first training ride, I had the misfortune to have a slow-moving, non-exciting crash, and happened to shatter my tib fib in 8 places. So the end result is a bit of titanium in my ankle. I have 2 plates running up either side, tib fib, and 12 screws holding everything together. I'm hoping that after I have the surgery to remove all this hardware, which will eventually be soon after the Susitna, that I might be able to make a fun bike part from it. Everybody loves titanium. Last year I had attempted to do what I wanted to do on my mountain bike, just with fat rims, but I told myself after last year's experience that I didn't want my gear to be what stopped me from completing the Susitna. So I decided to invest in the Surly Pugsley, and part of that is building up a frame, and you can have someone else or a shop put it together for you, but that's kind of a lot of the fun, is to build your own bike and to know that everything that's on it is something that you've done yourself. So it's a lot of fun though for folks who haven't seen a bike like this to see it for the first time, and to see the look on their faces, and to see what reactions they have for it. I was riding into work one day and came along the trail, and there was this woman walking in front of me, and I called out trail, and she didn't move over, and so I finally come up to her and call out trail, and had pretty much stopped at this point, and she turns around and she's was just completely overwhelmed and surprised. She was just like, "Oh my gosh, what a fat bike," you know? She's like, big bike, and tell English wasn't her first language, but she was just so excited to see me riding this bicycle, and she started asking me all these questions about it in a short amount of time, and was just like, seriously, was just very excited about seeing someone riding a bike on a winter trail. And it's fun to see the enthusiasm of folks who haven't seen something like this before.
So this year will be my 15th time doing the Susitna 100, and I'll be biking it again, and it's quite an adventure race. You have to carry survival gear, and it's 100 miles and on the Iditarod Trail. It started years ago by Joe Reddington, who started the Iditarod, and he just so loved having people on the Iditarod Trail. He wanted to have other events besides dog mushing on the trail. So he started a ski race and then a bike race on the Iditarod Trail, and from Idita-bike it's evolved over the years from several different races to the current Susitna 100. So the races started off just using standard mountain bike tires, and they quickly found that those weren't wide enough to ride on the snow. And then some guys started welding 2 and 3 rims together and putting 4 and 6 tires on the front and back of their bike. The 6-pack was the bike with the 6 tires.
I mean, we had wild ideas. You know, it was like we were all over the map, from helium balloons inside your jacket, anything that would hold the weight, keep the weight off of the snow, so you could ride along under your own power. And we had ideas of skis and tracks, and you know, I mean, just I can't even think of all the things we thought of that morning. Our ideas finally came around to just the wheel. The wheel is the simplest and the most efficient with chain drive. And so, you know, the most obvious thing is just to make a wider tire. And to manufacture a tire is completely out of our realm, so the most logical step was just to lace two wheels together and have a composite wheel. So that's how it came about.
The Remolino rims and tires came around. They were developed in New Mexico for riding on sand dunes and in dry washes.
I'd gone to the Interbike trade show in Las Vegas in 1999, and I met Ray Molina there. He had a little booth there, and he was actually had a few built up, I think 2 built up bikes that he was calling the sand bikes. And so I introduced myself to him, and I'd been riding up here in Alaska for a long time on the snowcats, and before that with the narrower rims, and I was getting a little bit tired of always plunging through the snow, and everybody else was able to ride away. So I mentioned to him I thought they'd really work good on snow, and I initially placed an order with him to get some of his bikes, but he didn't really have the manufacturing process all worked out then. So and I ended up just getting a bunch of rims and tires from him, and started building them up here in Alaska.
A few years ago, Surly came out with the Pugsley and the Endomorph tire and the large marge rims, which then there was a production bike for riding on the snow that anyone could get, and any bike shop could order the parts for this to build them up. So then winter biking finally became quite reasonable in price for most people. So with all these technologies that are now readily available, bike commuting is easier than it's ever been. It used to be only a handful of people in Anchorage would ride all winter, and now there are many people riding. It used to be kind of strange. You'd see someone riding their bike in the winter, and now you can't go a day without seeing someone riding their bike around town, usually commuting to work or to school.
I commute in Anchorage mainly because I'm so hooked on biking. Like a lot of us, I'm miserable if I'm not riding. So I mean, I ride all winter because I kind of have to. It's not as hard as people think. What I really love about riding in the winter, especially, is that you can get out when nobody else is out there. It's you can still leave the car at home and get to work and have a lot more fun than sitting in traffic. People look at you and they say you're crazy, but it's a lot more sensible than sitting in a car, coming in on the Glen Highway, or sitting at traffic lights in town. It's just a lot more fun. When people tell me I'm crazy, people tell you you're crazy for riding in the winter, but usually when they say that to me, you can hear a little admiration or awe in their voice. People are actually impressed that you ride in the winter. So I think a lot of us kind of get off on the image that we're nuts, but I think a lot of us also hope that people will see us doing it and think, hey, maybe I could do that too, because it's a better way to get around.
So it used to be just even 5 or 6 years ago, if you saw a fat bike tire tread out on a trail, depending on where you were located, you could probably guess who was riding that day and whose track it was. But now, since the Pugsley has become available, they are everywhere. We have literally hundreds of them in Anchorage.
I think we have a really friendly bike community here. We've gotten tighter in the last few years. More people know each other. More people get together for rides, and it's really friendly and open. One of the coolest things is that you can go to a Frigid Bits ride, and the fastest guys and the slowest guys that are showing up for their first ride, they may all go out and they may be far apart on the trail, but when they all get back to the burn barrel, they're all just bike geeks. They're drinking beer and they're all hanging around, and there's no air of competition that I'm the fast guy, you're the slow guy. We're all just bike guys and bike girls, and that's the cool thing about it.
Well, I know that race is going to be challenging regardless. It's going to be an epic for me, really. But I have a good idea that when push comes to shove, literally, I can ride the 100 miles. It's going to hurt a lot, but I can ride the 100 miles. What I'm really worried about is many veteran riders have told me that even on the best of years, they've had to push their bicycle fully loaded up towards 20 and 30 miles. So my greatest training regimen has been recently is to go out and, as boring as it may sound, just go out and push my bike for 20 miles in a weekend, and hopefully it'll give me that extra little edge that I'm looking for.
It's an integral part of winter biking, I think, and actually I like it. You know, sometimes you have cold toes, you get off and you walk and your toes warm up, or it's a part of winter biking. You're not always going to be able to ride, and I'm a professional at pushing. I pushed 350 miles going to Nome. You know, that's like pushing all the way to McGrath, basically. I really don't mind it. I enjoy it. It gives me a lot more time to look around, and you can quickly stop and grab a snack out of your pokey, or I can take a lot more pictures. I don't mind pushing.
Riding at night's a whole nother experience. Just an out of body sense where you don't know exactly where you are. You're just kind of floating in time. You don't see movement of things, and so it's harder to. It seems like time doesn't pass as quickly when you're on a bike at night. The other part about it too is if you're in a night environment for a long period of time, you start to kind of lose yourself, and some people even start to hallucinate about people that or animals that might be out in the woods, and it can be kind of scary at times. I mean, we're all adults here, but it's the dark, and there's things that live in the dark that might be out after you. So it's a little eerie. I personally like to. I like riding at night. The weather. It's been snowing for about 24 hours. Probably got about 4 or 5 inches of new snow, which is great because 2 weeks ago warmed up, melted, and turned everything into nasty ice. And hoping to go for a nice ride tomorrow. Looks like the snow should be tapering off and partially sunny skies tomorrow. 2 weeks prior to the meltdown, we had 2 weeks of continuous 25 below weather, so it'll be really nice to be able to ride without freezing your bits off.
Yeah, we're going to take a little tour on the race route today. Head out towards Flathorn Lake. We probably won't get that far and make a loop back here. Try to be back before dark. It's -5 right now, but it should warm up. It's clear and sunny, so it should warm up above 0 later on today.
It's a whole new ball game for sure. It's training on boilerplate fast stuff for long distances doesn't prepare you for soft, squishy mounting, dismounting, falling. It's going to take a lot more energy than I had initially thought for.
Yeah, these are actually pretty good conditions overall. I'd say average or better than average. This trail that we're standing at right now was just put in yesterday, but it was cold enough last night that it set up, and it's definitely bikeable. I've seen it way worse and way better.
I'm really excited. I'm very nervous. Conditions are pretty favorable for the day. I thought there might be a lot of snow, and so it's going to start off really good at least. And I don't know, it's just fun to see the excitement of everybody that's here and see so many bicyclists trying to do it as well. And everyone I've talked to so far has come from faraway places: Idaho, Illinois, Australia, Italy, and I think it's really great that I have the opportunity to do this today and tomorrow and the next day.
The Susitna 100 draws all kinds of people to do it. Some are true athletes, like professional athletes. Others are people that it would be a once-in-a-lifetime adventure just to see if they could do it, and everyone in between. But generally what keeps people coming back is the sense of camaraderie and sharing of the trail, where everyone, no matter what their station in life or how good of an athlete they are, they still have to cover the same miles over the very differing weather conditions and different trail conditions that you get. And there's a spirit of the trail that people get, and they really enjoy that. And it's something that they can't really get in other areas of their life usually. So it really draws people from all over the world to come and experience it, because there's a certain allure of the Iditarod Trail, and it's quite beautiful, and it can be very difficult and harsh at times, but it's very rewarding when you've achieved something when you've had to struggle to get it.
We could start a revolution and come up with some solutions.
So, with the soft snow, it's just killing us. You're riding along, you think it's a good line, all of a sudden you just sink in and you can't move. You push for a little bit, all of a sudden it's better and you can ride, and then you drop through again. So it's not going to be one of the fast years, but I hope to continue around.
It's a push fest. I've definitely been able to ride my bike, but it's been definitely pushing a lot more than I was expecting, and my ankle is giving me some nice reminders of what a privilege it is to be out here. So I'm definitely feeling the pressure of riding the bicycle versus pushing the bicycle. But everybody out here is having a great time, and couldn't ask for a better day, really.
So right now I'm just getting ready to leave Luce's after a couple hours stay here. Got my clothes dry, got something to eat, got a nap. And I've got some warm water. And put my sleeping bag back on my bike and go finish this thing.
What time did you get in?
Got here at 4:30 in the morning. We left Eagle Song at about 10 last night, and it's only 22 miles. But the trail was soft, we were tired, and it took forever to get here. Lots of pushing, ride, and then crash, and then push some more, and then push until you realize you could be riding, and you ride till you crash, then you push some more, and going that way, you only go about 3 or 4 miles an hour on average, and that seems terribly slow. It is terribly slow.
This is gonna be our last song. Here we go again.
Yeah, it's been
Life's taken me
the biggest physical and mental challenge I've had basically ever. It's when you're pushing your bike for 40 miles straight and you're maybe 8 hours, you've gone 6 miles in the dark. It's hard to keep going, but having some problems with my ankle, having a hard time pushing and having a hard time riding. So I told myself and my friends and my family that I wasn't going to do anything stupid out here. So I've decided to call it and get a ride back. But I wouldn't have given up this experience for anything. It's worth all the pain and anguish. And at times I really wished I had skis, but I think it was a good experience to do it on the bike, and hopefully next year, with all the hardware removed, I'll have a better experience.
Do you like bikes?
Love bikes.
Someday it'll all be shown. Someday it'll all be clear. Just exactly what this life's about. Just exactly